For what feels like forever, self-driving cars have always been just around the corner. But Q3 of 2025, this feels different. This feels like a real turning point. So let's dive into what's making this moment so pivotal for autonomous vehicles.
All right, let's kick things off with the number that's really driving all of this. We're talking about a projected market size of, get this, $2.75 trillion by 2033. I mean, that's not just a market, that's a whole new global economy being born right before our eyes.
And that really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. The self-driving car industry, it's not in the lab anymore. It's on the street for real. The era of just research and development is over. The race to scale has officially begun. Okay, so how did we even get to this tipping point? Well, the first big piece of the puzzle is just pure economics. The financial case for autonomy isn't just a theory anymore. It's become undeniable. And that's creating this powerful engine that's pushing the whole industry forward. Now, check this out. What's so fascinating is that while all the forecasts are a little different, they all point in the same direction: explosive growth. But look closely at that third line, AI and automotive. A compound annual growth rate that's the year-over-year growth of nearly 54%. That tells you the real story here. The big money isn't just in building the cars themselves, it's in the brains that power them. Yeah, and with that much money on the table, a high-stakes race is absolutely inevitable. So let's break down the three main competitors and see how their completely different philosophies are playing out on the streets right now. So you've got three totally different game plans. On one side, there's Waymo with their conquer and hold strategy. They go deep into one city, they work hand in hand with regulators, and only then do they expand. Then you have Tesla, betting it all on the data network effect, basically using the millions of cars they've already sold to feed their AI. And finally, there's Zoox, aiming for a perfected service. Their idea is to create a flawless, premium experience in one place with their own custom-built vehicle, and then just copy and paste that model to new cities.
And you can really see Waymo's methodical approach in action here. We're talking about a massive commercial service, over 250,000 paid trips every single week. After nailing down airports, they're now cautiously dipping their toes into the chaos of New York City, all while planning their next moves in Denver and Seattle. It's slow, it's steady, and it's super deliberate.
Tesla, meanwhile, is doing the exact opposite. They are moving fast and, while breaking things. They've already launched their robotaxi service in Austin, and they're pushing their FSD software out globally. But, and this is a big but, that aggressive software-first approach has its risks. Just look at the major recall of their flagship Cybertruck because of a critical camera flaw. It kind of complicates their whole narrative of software perfection, right? And then you have Zoox, making its grand debut in Las Vegas. Their entire strategy revolves around this totally unique, purpose-built vehicle you see. And they are all about deep, high-touch engagement. I mean, they're spending a ton of time training local firefighters and police, betting that building that ground-level trust with first responders is the real key to winning over the public. So why the different strategies? Well, it all comes down to a deep, fundamental disagreement about the technology itself. This is the great debate that basically divides the entire industry. And at the very heart of that debate is something called the long-tail problem. Look, programming a car for the 99% of normal driving, that's the easy part. The incredibly hard part, the real challenge, is programming for that last 1%, the near infinite number of bizarre, unpredictable edge cases. A deer jumping out, a weird reflection, a construction zone that just popped up. Solving for that is the key to everything. Which brings us to this really provocative quote from Elon Musk that perfectly captures one side of this argument. He actually said that adding sensors like LiDAR and radar reduces safety. Now, how could that possibly be true? Well, his argument is that it creates what he calls sensor contention. So you have two camps. The sensor fusion camp, that's Waymo and Zoox, they believe more sensors mean more redundancy. It's a safer, cross-checked view of the world. But the vision-only camp, led by Tesla, says when different sensors disagree, it just creates conflict and confusion for the AI. They think a single, powerful AI interpreting just camera data is the superior way to go. And this isn't just some academic debate. It's all driven by economics. Super expensive LiDAR sensors are fine if you're a commercial fleet, but they're a total non-starter if you want to sell an affordable car to millions of people. But here's the thing. You can have the best technology in the world, but it's completely useless if it's not legal to operate or if people are just too scared to get inside one. And that opens up these other almost invisible battlefields. regulation and public trust. And on the regulatory front, we're seeing two very different philosophies taking shape. In the US, it's all about innovation first. Basically, let the companies deploy their tech and then make them report back on how safe it is in the real world. The EU, on the other hand, is all about standardization first. They want to create a detailed rulebook that everyone has to follow before these cars are allowed on the roads in large numbers. And honestly, that regulatory caution makes a lot of sense when you look at public opinion. Even with all the progress we've seen, a clear majority of drivers in the US, 60%, still say they are afraid to ride in a self-driving car. So yeah, building public trust is maybe the biggest hurdle the industry faces. And you know what fuels that fear? It's these highly visible real-world glitches. People don't remember the millions of miles driven perfectly. What they remember is the viral video of the one robotaxi blocking a fire truck, or the one that keeps getting parking tickets. These are those long-tail incidents we talked about, and they do a disproportionate amount of damage to public trust. So, okay, we've got these competing strategies, this huge tech debate, the regulators, public fear. With all these moving parts, what is the real battle being fought here? As we're about to see, it might not be about the car at all. If you look closely at the business deals from this quarter, a really clear pattern starts to emerge. You see smaller, specialized tech companies all aligning themselves with a few dominant technology platforms. LiDAR makers are cozying up to NVIDIA. AV software firms are partnering with Qualcomm. What this is telling us is that the entire industry is consolidating around a handful of incredibly powerful tech ecosystems. And the perfect example of this, maybe the most strategic move of the whole quarter, wasn't a new car launch at all. It was the chip giant Qualcomm buying Autotalks, a leader in vehicle-to-vehicle communication. This is a classic platform play. You absorb critical technology to make your own ecosystem that much more powerful and indispensable. You're trying to become the operating system for the car.
Which leaves us with one final, and I think pretty provocative question. For the last 100 years, the auto industry has been a battle between car brands like Ford and Toyota. But as we head into this new autonomous era, is the real war even being fought at that level anymore? The future of driving might not be a battle between Ford and Toyota at all, but a platform war between NVIDIA and Qualcomm.